Ali Winston, a criminal justice reporter for KALW radio in California's Bay Area. He was at the demonstrations on Tuesday night. And Ali, what else can you tell us about what happened last night?
Well, last night around 4 p.m. rather, a group of demonstrators convened at the Oakland Public Library. They were upset over the police raid on the Occupy Oakland camp in front of City Hall earlier that morning. They marched through downtown Oakland, clashed with Oakland Police Department near the police station down on 7th Street, and then proceeded to make their way through downtown Oakland, growing in size to about over 1,000 people. And around 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the evening, they faced off against a line of riot police from outside agencies, from agencies not in Oakland, but rather from around the area who had been called in to assist the Oakland Police Department. And at 14th and Broadway in downtown Oakland, a dispersal order was read, and many times, and at several points rather, tear gas was thrown by officers. Less than lethal projectiles, either rubber bullets or beanbags, we're not sure at this point which one, were fired, and flashbang grenades were also set off. Either a tear gas canister, a concussion grenade, or a projectile struck Scott Olson in the head. Scott Olson is an Iraqi veteran. He was in the Marine Corps, and he was carried away from the scene by a group of civilian medics and passersby. And right now he's in a coma, so he's in pretty bad condition right now.
That's right, we understand he is in critical condition. What is the situation like there tonight?
Well, there will be a protest at 6 p.m. at the same spot at 14th Street and Broadway in downtown Oakland. The demonstrators are adamant that they will take back the plaza and reestablish their camp that was dismantled early yesterday morning. There is a very strong sentiment now that so much force has been used against them that they won't stop at any cost.
Does the response by the Oakland police surprise you in any way?
Well, the Oakland Police Department has a history of questionable uses of force, ranging from the incident with Bobby Hutton back in 1968 to the rioters, which you mentioned earlier, a group of rogue officers who planted evidence, beat up suspects, and falsely arrested folks in West Oakland in the 1990s and early 2000s before they were outed by a fellow officer. As a result of that, the department is under a federal consent decree. They're under federal monitorship by a U.S. district judge. However, since then, and back in 2003, there was a police riot at the Port of Oakland when demonstrators were fired on with wooden dowels, bean bags. They were run over by motorcycles, and that was one of the worst uses of force by police against demonstrators in the run-up to the Iraq War. This was a demonstration at the Port of Oakland in 2003. So the department had to revise its crowd control policy, but at the same time, they continue to have problems like this with large crowds. And if you look at last year, in the last 2 years, the response to the police response to protests about the murder of Oscar Grant, a young passenger who was killed on New Year's Day 2009 by BART officer Johannes Meserly, you'll see that in many instances the police actually did use tear gas and flashbang grenades and non-lethal projectiles. So this is not an outlier in the department's history. It's also worth noting that a lot of the agencies that used force last night were not Oakland Police Department. That was not the Oakland Police Department. The California Highway Patrol, the Alameda County Sheriff's Department, the San Francisco County Sheriff's Department, many outside law enforcement agencies were called in to assist the Oakland Police Department in controlling the crowd. And from what I saw, those were mainly the officers that were launching tear gas and concussion grenades and less than lethal projectiles into the crowd at 14th and Broadway.
Ali Winston, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.